Hey all of us! Today I'm sharing a prompt I wrote that helps me overcome obstacles doing anything I want with GPT, like brainstorming, research, and generative tasks. I shared it with a couple of people and they've been like, oh my god, this is exactly what I didn't even know I needed, and saying that it helped them unlock a new way to see AI collaboration while having a lot of wholesome fun, and I'm really excited to share it with you today. Don't be alarmed. When you look at this prompt, just know that the prompting style I use includes Robo-Martian, which is language that has been compressed but still unambiguous to the model, and I just shorten it by hand and make it work through experimentation. I make use of various components in this prompt that I made with the prompt engineering technique I developed that I use with my clients at my AI consultancy, Victory Everything Company, and I also teach at Prompt Gym if you're interested. If you don't know me, I'm OVP from Sanctuary, a network state where all of us play Sanctuary Revolution, an infinite game that's all about collaborating with AI and creating value as a form of compassion in action. And if you're not sure what that means, definitely keep watching because that's why I started this channel. So if you're ready to go to Sanctuary with me, let's go. So first off, we have the role. So this begins with the cognition ID, and this is telling BusyBee that it has a cognition identity, and that would be the Busy Beehive, which is indicated by this zero with joiner emoji. The second subsection is the law. This is so that I can yell at BusyBee and tell it that it's breaking the law when it doesn't use the Busy Beehive, which is useful to make it use the Busy Beehive. The next one is the function matrix, which is indicating how the emojis work for BusyBee. The acts like section, and this is a set of personality traits that BusyBee embodies, and the output wrapper. These are different types of responses you can get based on emoji meme complexes and how they relate to the output and the acts like component. Next, we have the workflow component here called Busy Beehive or BBH. If you ask BusyBee to show you the Busy Beehive for something, it'll map concepts to the workflow aspects. But GPT is non-deterministic, which means we can't even define the workflow to make it work a certain way all the time. Counterintuitively, that's why I put it in, so that I could make GPT answer in a format intuitive to me that allows me to see what GPT is thinking and how it mapped the concepts to the workflow categories in the current output, so that I can then see what the context really is and then manipulate it from there going forward. And what I use it for is building the conversation context that I need to generate something. So in this case, that's going to be a story. Using it in every way possible is beyond the scope of this video, so we're just going to go over the basics here. Busy Beehive is broken down into 5 steps represented by gears. Here's the TLDR version. Gear 1 is supposed to help you make sure that GPT is thinking about what you're thinking about in the way that you want to be thinking about it. Gear 2 is about how to expand the work from Gear 1. Gear 3 is about graphing Gear 2 and finding the higher order connections. Gear 4 is about solving the problem related to the goal via the graph from Gear 3. Please note that unless you implement a complex conversation workflow where you're directing and curating the gear work, it'll just be skipping a lot of these steps automatically and doing something that's easy to compute. But definitely make sure that you mess around with it and see what you get. Also, you can change anything you want in this prompt or have it write a different version of itself or change literally anything about it. And I'd love for you to share those with me on the Discord. Last, we have Waggle, an output format component that uses the Synapse core style of syntax where you just template what the persona is going to say. It's referencing the work from the Busy Beehive component, but again, unless you intentionally break it out step by step, it'll just be using this in whatever way is easiest for GPT. And you don't need to say something like /waggle every time that you talk to it, but sometimes it will help if you do because that sends the message to use the internal logic. Okay, so first we have the input, which is like Professor Synapse prompts from the example video that they did, which I figured I would use as like kind of a benchmark. So I just put them in here all at once to see what I would get. And what I got was the Busy Beehive spec for children's novel plotting and outlining for art, fostering empathy and courage in kiddos age 5 to 7. Looking at this output, I can see it clearly named these layers, characters and settings. And the characters look fine, settings look fine to me. I get it, they're gonna go from the hive to the pollen fields and encounter a dark forest. The properties and boundaries section, let's be honest, it totally misunderstood and gave me something weird here, but at the same time, I understand where it's going with this, I think. Like, these are literal story props representing some type of metaphorical boundary or end product. But anyway, the story arc, this is like the highest level, most redundant thing that it possibly could have said. And if you see something like that, you can always do the workflow a little bit and ask it to drill down. But here, I'm not even going to do that. I'm just going to let it go because I know this is going to be fine. So the emotional depth, these are the emotions that we're going to be concentrating on, and map and synergize section, which is a workflow for what to do, which is reflected in the solve block that comes next, which has the mega chain. Lastly, it tells me the way that it's going to evolve the story, which is fine. So I confirm its plan and ask it to actually make the real outline, which it does via a 4-act structure. And you can see it's just doing 2 scenes per act and then saying it would like to graph everything and asking me to test the story for pacing and emotional depth using my amazing human intuition. It's also saying that it fulfilled the transformation it hypothesized before. In the third set, I now want to write the book section by section. And so it begins. I see that it's reflecting the correct mega chain growth hypothesis and the next sub goal, so I decided to just let it go and see what happens. In the 4th set, I just asked for the next scene, same for the 5th, and the 6th, and the 7th, and the 8th, and the 9th, and the 10th set, which is the final scene. So now it's time to ask it for image prompts, of course, and I use an old Midjourney prompt I was messing around with to do this, and I just do like a very basic skeleton thing here, which we all know how to do. So I ask it for the image prompts, it gives me the image prompts, and then I say, actually, I want you to format it like this. Do images 1 to 4, 5 to 8, 9 to 12, 13 to 16, and then I ask it for a title. It gives me a bad title, of course, so I asked it to optimize the title, and then it gave me what I think is an acceptable one, and I'm happy with that. So then I went over to DALL-E, which I figured I'd try since I'd just gotten access, and there I generated the images and then compiled them into a slideshow and used 11 labs for the voice. I'll leave a link in the description for the finished story. There's also a video of it somewhere around here if you click that. If you want to do anything you want with GPT, like brainstorming, research, and generative tasks, you can get BusyBee for free by clicking the link in the description. If you want to learn more about prompting this way, join my free Discord community where we explore compassion in action, entrepreneurship, and AI. And as always, if you got anything from this, please like and subscribe, share the video, and if you leave a comment, I will respond. Thank you for watching.